Well, welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura, and we're going to talk about our latest Thursday Threads Book Club book, recommended to me by a viewer. Thank you, from Australia. Margaret, I think it was. She recommended Tie-Dye. Welcome back to Crazy Dave's Crew. I'm Laura.
Okay, I got the audio working.
Okay.
I apologize.
All right, audio is working. Yay! Tie-Dyed by Carol Dean Jones. I got the Kindle version because I'm a Kindle Unlimited member, and it was free. Also, the next couple books I believe are free. At least the second one is. I didn't check the other ones. This is in our Amazon shop. So at some point, I'll have David put a link to that down in the description, and you can just go to the shop. And if you're not a Kindle Unlimited, I would highly recommend you join. This has really been a nice experience, having the books and having them to be sort of free. Definitely some that I can try before I buy, which is always good. But Tie-Dyed, it started out... How many of y'all have read the book? Well, if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. It was really good. And it's one I could really relate to. You know, so many of these books, they've got these teeny tiny, drop-dead gorgeous, model-esque versions. No, this is a woman that her daughter is 44 years old. She lost her husband. She has 2 kids. She's lost a grandson. And definitely a transition. And we learn a lot about her in the beginning of the book. And that the daughter is wanting her to move to a retirement community. Not necessarily not a nursing home, but it's a community where she can live there, and there's people on staff. They have a community center right there inside. What I loved, the Sarah, main character, as they're driving to the place, she's like, "Oh, look, there's the nursing home. There's this. Oh, look, and there's the cemetery. I don't have to, I can just walk over there and heave myself into the ground." Really being sarcastic. But she ends up giving in. And as she's going through her things and unpacking, a lot of memories are coming out. And I have not lost my spouse. I still have him, thankfully. But I do know when I lost my mom and again my dad, going through their things was really difficult. My father, mom passed away in 2000. Daddy passed away in 2013. But my mom, she would leave her house shoes behind the couch. There was like this wall, and then there was the couch would stick out, and she would always put her house shoes like next to the wall behind the couch. And I had gone over one day, and I went and put her house shoes away. Little things. And I would come back, and he would have gotten her shoes and put back. And when he did that, I was like, okay, nope, hands off. I need to leave it alone. Let him deal with putting things away and going through them on his own terms. But she's learning how to meet people. She, is making a lot of friends, really rediscovering herself. I love the part where she has an answering machine and her daughter calls and, "Mom, where are you? You're never home anymore." I thought that was pretty great. She was getting into computer classes. She met a friend, Sophie, and she met another friend, Andy. And between them all, they really helped her get out of her shell and become living again. And I really thought they did Carol did such a good job of establishing the character and establishing, where she was and how she met the people. She had a whole box full of ties from her husband John, and she said, maybe I'll make a quilt for my daughter, but she didn't know how to start. And it goes through all the people that she was meeting, and then there is a murder. Now, one thing I did like about the book, it was not a tearjerker. I did not have to go and hunt down my tissues and wait for myself to calm down before I was able to continue. Everything was gentle, I guess is the word. And I'm afraid I'm going to give some stuff away, but there's some parts that were just so good. She remembered the officer that had come to tell her that her husband had died at work. And he'd been so kind. And he was also the same one who had called to tell her about her grandson. And apparently there's something still going on with that, because they kind of gave you a little bit of a teaser about the Miller case. Apparently he had been riding his bike and it was a hit and run. But he's a retired police officer, Charles. And he was talking about the Miller case and how the department had closed the case, and he didn't feel like it was really closed. So I'm kind of waiting for that to come back. But he had admired her. His wife had died. His kids were off in another state. He'd had a stroke and was relearning, he could still get around really good, but he'd really withdrawn into himself. So you've got this woman who had been withdrawn into herself. She only wanted to work in her garden. And people teaching her how to live and how to enjoy life. And then she kind of transfers that over to Charles. After the murder, she decides she wants to get a dog. And I want that dog. I want Barney. I want that dog. I love... apparently he'd moved his bed and his toys into her bedroom, and she was like, oh, you want to move into here, huh? Anytime an animal can show that kind of affection, it is just... And that she was so willing to accept the affection and to give it back. I thought was great. Page 191, I actually marked something, and again, this is a neat thing with the Kindle, is I love the way you can highlight. She was making, was taking some sewing classes, and she made a table runner, and she got to meet Frank. Frank was a young man who was a special needs. He was very proud of himself. He was working at the local store. Very sensitive, but the sweetest kid you'd ever hope to meet. And he was wanting to learn how to make a pretty quilt for his grandmother, who had raised him. So she's at her house and in her new sewing room, so she's really excited about that. And she's sewing a few seams on her throw for her next class. She was beginning to see what it was going to look like. She hoped no one would notice the small error she had made along the way. And I like this phrasing. She said, perhaps those can be my humility blocks. And I like that. Stay humble. It's okay if you make mistakes. They can be your humility blocks. And then she says, according to folklore, Ruth had mentioned that Amish quilters sometimes included an intentional error as a tribute to God, and the fact that only He could produce perfection. That was when I thought that was highlighter worthy. Well, I am going to go ahead and give a spoiler. She and Charles become very good friends. Um, Her friend Sophie really harasses her. He kissed her on the cheek, and her friend Sophie calls her, "I saw that, you hussy." Um, but I think the one I liked the most is she was putting some dishes in the sink, and they'd been talking, and he was, playing with Barney and things, and he'd come up behind her and just put his arms around her. And it made me think of when my husband does that, and you just lean back in and just enjoy the hug. Um, we're not given play-by-play descriptions of any physical activity. It's, they sit close to each other. She blushes. Which I think is really sweet. So there's just a smidge of romance going on. And I think we all need that. And if it can remind you of your spouse like it did me, all the better. Yeah, he's over there right now just shaking his head going, "I told you not to talk about me." Can't help it.
I'm kind of shy,
Yeah, he's not shy. He just doesn't like to be told that he's a great guy. There's a lot of times, like people at church will talk about the things he's done. He doesn't think he does anything special. A lot of what they're complimenting him on, or what I think is so wonderful about him, he's like, that's just what a man does. He was brought up right, definitely, for what a man, a human, treats other humans. And I guess the sad part is we do find that quality so rare and special. It should be every day. We do find out who the murderer is. And when it ends, kind of abrupt. The person is getting, arrested. The telephone rings, and Sophie says, "What the Sam Hill is going on over there? What are all those cop cars doing there?" "Well, get over here, Sophie. Do I have a story for you?" And that's the way the book ends. And I'm left going, what else? And this is a mystery you can solve. All the clues are given there for you. You just got to be paying attention. And this is not the dream world. We have people in it that maybe they're not so nice. But then you have the nice ones too. And I thought it was very realistic. The second book is on Kindle Unlimited, and I have already downloaded it and started chapter 1. Yes, he was brought up right. You are right, Anna. And I hope his mom and dad are watching to know that I definitely feel that way. If you have room on your prayer list, keep a spot for my father-in-law. He went in for a stress test, and then they had him come in very quickly after for an angiogram, and then they decided to do a triple bypass. And he's recovering very well. But if you don't mind, kind of keep a spot on your prayer list for my father-in-law, please. But yes, I do think my mother and father-in-law raised him very well. One other thing I liked, if I can get it pulled up here. There it is. Maybe. No, I keep coming back. Oh, yeah. And we hope you're loving tie-dyed. As promised, click below to get your free ebook. So you can always, at the end of it, you'll get a free ebook. But I want to show you at the end of the book. There is a pattern. Okay, I don't know why this isn't working. Usually I can just, there we go. So see the full quilt on the back cover. Sarah Miller plans to make a remembrance quilt from her husband's ties for their daughter Martha. You can make this 45.5 inch. Suddenly the page turned. Let's turn this back another. One more time. You can make this for... Now I went back too far. One more. Technology, yeah. I do love my Kindle, and that was something my husband had bought for me when I got sick. Okay, it just keeps telling me I can get my free ebook, but I've already got my free ebook. Thank you very much. You know, we're just going to close out of everything. Tie-dyed. We're back up. Okay, and I'm back on the page about, do you love this book? And it says, or if you're not loving this book, choose another book on us. Okay, back up to that. Okay, here we go. Make this 45.5 inch by 45.5 inch quilt for someone special in your life. And it says you need 20 to 25 silk ties in assorted colors. How many yards of accent fabric, foundation paper, 3 yards backing, etc., etc. Seam allowances are 1/4 inch. WOF is with the fabric. And then it goes down and tells you how to make it. So I thought that was a lovely little addition. And it shows you how to put it together. So all these little sunbursts there, that's the ties. And then the next book is called Running Stitches. And I'm going to bet you dollars to donuts we're probably going to get the pattern to that one as well. Oh, yes. Second edition includes instructions to make the featured quilt, which is right there. So that was, like I said, bonus. So they're going to show you how to make that one. I also liked in this book, I love hearing about the quilts and why they're called certain things and how they originated. And I had told in another video some time ago about the log cabin, and that was one that they would make in the Civil War. And they would make the center traditionally would be a red for the the hearth at home, and that was one you would send out to the soldiers for them to remember home. And Sarah, in contemplating this, and she's talking to Ruth, the store owner who's giving the classes on teaching how to sew, that a lot of times these boys, young men, I find the older I get, the younger everybody seems to be. So sorry. They'd be buried in those quilts. They would do fundraisers, or they would send them out to the soldiers, and a lot of times they would end up being buried in those blankets. Very humbling. Definitely 2 thumbs up. If I had 3 thumbs, I'd give it a 3 thumbs up. I really liked it. There wasn't a lot of, no sex. Language, very tame, very nice. if there was a bad word, it was in an appropriate place and used by the type of person that would use that word. I am looking forward to the next book, to the whole what happens next. What happens next? Am I going to find out about the Miller case? Am I going to find out what happened to the murderer? What else is going to happen with Charles and Sarah? What's going to happen with Martha? She's got... it seems like a special character who needs some extra love. She definitely got her stubbornness the honest way. She got it straight from her mother. Absolutely. So, of course, they clash heads a lot of times. And she was the twinkle in her father's eye, and she just adored him. But, so a lot of questions. So I'm definitely wanting to continue reading the series. And I said, Kindle Unlimited, awesome. I think it's $10 a month. And you can check out 10 books at a time. So I can have a book that I'm doing some research on, another book with some patterns or recipes, and have a couple of fun books, all at the same time. But no, David had bought me the Kindle quite some time ago. It was when I got sick and my eyesight wasn't so great. With this, I have the lighting. I can make the bigger and smaller. And if you guys have a suggestion, please, 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 please. I'm wanting to do books that have to do with crafting, sewing, crocheting, anything to do with fibers. It can be embroidery, it can be crocheting, it can be knitting, weaving, quilting, sewing. If you know of a book like that, or like any of the others that we've done in our book club so far, please leave that in the comments below. But for next month, the second Tuesday of March, first of all, y'all need to get this book and read it. It was really good. But the second Tuesday of March at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, I would like us to talk about Miss Scarlett's School of Patternless Sewing. And I hope I'm going to say the name right, but Kathy Cano-Murillo. And it says she has authored 7 crafting books, is the founder of CraftyChica.com, a website inspiring women to discover their inner artist. So I thought that was really awesome. A woman empowering other women. And I like that on the back, sometimes to find your life's true path, you have to stray outside the lines. As stitches give way to secrets and classmates become friends, the women realize an important truth. There is no certain single pattern for a good life. Happiness is always a custom fit. So I thought that it seems a little longer. But again, it also has some interesting things. Spanish glossary. How to make a duct tape dress form. How to make little victories pages. Your own Maxi Billy frock. So I am looking forward to reading this book. And before we say goodnight, I have to share some little guys with you. Their mama died. Oh. Their mama died. And we had to bring them inside. And David and I have been having a marvelous time taking over. Unfortunately, we started out with 6. And I'm afraid we did lose 3 of them. But we still have 3. And these guys are a hoot. So I do want to share them with you. But check him out. Whoop. Actually, I think Can we put them on the box? What you guys have got to, these guys are just great, and they've been so much fun. But this is how I've been spending my evenings. Taking care, trying to corral them in. Have y'all ever tried herding bunnies before? But these are our guys. But they're American chinchillas, and I'm so hoping at least one of them is a girl. Because it's not easy finding this breed, and I really love this breed. Our two males, they love...
The arm.
Oh.
You're blocking the view.
Sorry. Just the sweetest things. They like to snuzzle. They like to... they don't realize they're this big. They think they're still this big. So I am just waiting for these guys who love to jump and climb. I'm just kind of waiting for them to be a good 10, 12 pounders and jump out of the cage at us. That should be fun. I'll try to make sure I have a video. But look at them. And you can find more of this type of thing on the Crazy D Ranch and Rabbitry. We've been having a lot of fun. Stella's had some babies, and Chloe's had some babies. And unfortunately, Diamond had some, but we lost Diamond. She was a really good mama, though. They were two. So we've had these guys in here for, what, about 3 weeks now?
Yeah.
And they are trouble. Anyway. Hey. A good book about quilting and little bunnies. You know? Who love to snuzzle at you and climb up on you and have no fear. That's right. That's my baby. Well, I certainly hope you will get the Miss Scarlett's School of Patternless Sewing and join me next month. And I hope that you enjoyed tonight's book club, book review. I have to say it was a great book to read on Valentine's Day. It was very sweet. And all this loving right here. Say hi, guys. And I really hope you've enjoyed seeing our babies. I honestly am very proud of us for being able to have 3 of them stay with us. Yeah. So these are our guys. And sometimes they like to eat David's beard.
Shh.
I don't know what they're going to do if he ever shaves it off. Anyway, be sure to check us out on Facebook, Thursday Threads Book Club, Sewing and Crocheting for Beginners. Need any Avon products? Check out the Avon with Laura. Check out the Amazon link below for more books. All the books that we've done so far, plus some other ones that, some of our favorite books. And don't forget to check out some of the shorts of our bunnies over on the Crazy D Ranch. Most importantly, don't forget to come back. I hope to see you here next time, right here on Crazy Dave's Crew. Thanks so much for watching. That's right. Hi. Hi. Oh, you look at me? That's my babies. Hello, honey. Yeah.